hope you're having a good day. I'm trying not to ramble on about this guy too long, but this was part of an experiment of cuttings that I made. I got maybe 12 to 15 of these guys to live, and that was, I had a really tall tree that I wanted to repot and take a bunch of cuttings from, and so what I did was I cut it basically down to size, threw away all those sticks, left a bunch of, left it about that much too long, waited around a month, and then when the leaves started to come out, I took all those as cuttings. And that was actually where I kind of came up with my idea of, in order to get a tree to root, especially cuttings, they need the growing tips to push the roots out. And it worked. All of them lived. I'm going to actually do a video on, I had them all in a huge bucket. I'm going to do a video on that soon. But I did, the last time I kind of trimmed that bucket up, I pulled a few out that just seemed to be crowding the others out, and this was one of them. I set it on the ground in this thing. It's time to come out. I've seen ants on it. It's been growing really well. Some of the growth I'm not all that thrilled about. It's all coming from the same spot here. So without much more, I'm gonna go ahead and partially defoliate. I am going to leave all the growing tips just until it gets established in this new pot. I'm going to take, although I will take out several branches, there's like 3 coming from one spot right here, just to thin it out a little bit. And again, the partial defoliation is just, and you can see here, one branch there with all those leaves on it. So when I say partial, is I'll just kind of come down to the base of the branch. Here you have a little nub here and a nub here. Nothing decided to be the leader. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell that. Nothing came out of the wound right on top. But there was 2 coming out of here. There was actually 3 coming out of here. I almost took this top one off because it's kind of a branch coming right out of the top, but it almost looks like it's trying to be the leader. But I'll leave it at that for now, and then just kind of get in here. See what the roots look like. It's the most important thing. I still like some of my bigger trees, but I'm starting to really like some of these, just because it's so much easier to move around. Not so backbreaking. I remember when I first decided to use this. This has been out there for like 2 years now. Can't believe it's lasted that long. I figured it'd be brittle and breaking apart by now. Now this, when I was new to the hobby, watch a lot of videos on how to make the good Nabari, and of course, I don't think it works out on tropicals quite as well as everything else. But when they do this, they always seem to have a little way of, like, go in here with the chopsticks or whatever and then pull straight out. And like when I come around, a lot of you would probably see me just do it with my hands. When I come around, I am trying, I always try to make sure I am pulling straight away. But even there's nothing to pull there. That was just, and this is just one of these, I don't know if it's good or bad, but one of these characteristics of this type of microcarpa, in that it doesn't really get roots spread in that it actually just gets a mat of roots that come out. And there's just not really much to them other than dirt and little tiny roots. This thing has, I mean, I cut off the roots that were coming out of the bottom of the thing, of my little container here. But it really has no discernible roots, just this mat. So I'm going to hop outside and wash them off real quick. I think that's been working out well for me. Let's see what we got there. So, as it turns out, the container itself, actually I think was kind of a little bit of a successful experiment there. Using potting soil instead of good substrate was a mistake. Had I used good substrate, I would probably have about out to there with just nothing but good clean roots like I've got. But because I had that potting soil in there, I had to kind of take a lot more of it out and just leave some of the potting soil that was right up next to the trunk there. But you can even see the bottom of the cutting there and a nice little root spread coming off of it. So this is one of these things of where now I've got another size of these. This one, and actually that is the one I'm going to use. I don't really need it to grow and be gargantuan or anything. I can put it in there. It's almost a little oversized for it. But I actually think I'm going to start putting some of these into some of the smaller ones and try to keep a little bit better control over the root spread. And as long as I use good substrate. Should be fine. And so there we have it. Nice little aerial root hanging there. And I'll protect it for a little while. And then as soon as I notice it start growing again, I'll go ahead and prune all the tips, see what kind of backbudding I get.